The following video is an overview of the Tyler ISD Fair Labor Standards Act regulations and guidelines. What is the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA? The Fair Labor Standards Act is a federal law which establishes minimum wage, overtime pay eligibility, record keeping, and child labor standards affecting full-time and part-time workers in the private sector and in federal, state, and local governments. Minimum wage guidelines. Covered employees must receive a minimum standard of pay for each hour of work performed. Pay can be hourly, salary, piecework, or commission as long as the pay meets or exceeds the minimum hourly rate. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. Example 1. Bus drivers. Bus drivers may be paid by the route as long as that hourly rate for the route meets or exceeds the federal minimum wage rate. To determine if the minimum wage rate is being met, the amount paid for the route is divided by the time that is required to actually drive the route plus any before or after work requirements for that route. TISD pays bus drivers for each hour worked, including trip pay and waiting time. Example 2. Paraprofessionals. These employees can be paid on a salary basis when total pay divided by total number of hours worked meets or exceeds the current federal minimum wage hourly rate. Compensable time overview. Compensable time is described as follows. Any work performed by an employee, authorized or not, is compensable time. This may also include time during which the employee is not engaged in actual work activities, such as waiting time required for a particular job, rest periods of short durations, required training time, on-call time, prep and cleanup time. All employees are instructed not to perform unauthorized work. Pre-approval must be received. Payroll record keeping. Certain payroll records must be kept by the district in accordance with the FLSA. For non-exempt employees, time records for daily and weekly hours worked must be kept for each pay period. Payroll record keeping is described as follows. The district uses time clocks, but in some cases timesheets are necessary. Timesheets must be valid and accurate according to the actual hours worked. Please strive to avoid any of these problem areas when using paper timesheets. Exact same start and end time and total hours worked for each entry. Timesheets that are completed and signed by someone other than the employee. Timesheets for employees completed by the supervisor. Timesheets that do not show actual hours worked, but merely attendance. Timesheets that do not show actual hours worked, but only certain activities. Overtime pay guidelines. Overtime pay guidelines are described as follows. Public employers, including school districts, must compensate all non-exempt employees for overtime through either pay for all overtime worked at a rate not less than 1 1/2 times their regular rate of pay, or compensatory time off at the rate of 1 1/2 hours off for each overtime hour worked, up to a maximum of 240 accrued hours. Overtime is defined as any hours worked over 40 in any given work week by a non-exempt employee. The work week is established by the district. The hours are accumulated into the employee's compensatory leave. Use of compensatory time may be at the employee's request with supervisor approval, as workload permits, or at the supervisor's direction. An employee shall be required to use compensatory leave before using available paid leave, such as sick, personal, and vacation leave. Compliance issues. Meal breaks. Employees must be completely relieved of their duties for their respective 30-minute meal break. Lunch should be taken away from the employee's work environment. Answering the phone, answering emails, assisting parents, students, employees, etc. is considered working and must be compensated. Weekend and before and after scheduled hours. Non-exempt employees must avoid working before or after scheduled work hours and/or on weekends. Any work completed during these times is considered compensable. Appropriate disciplinary action should be taken to discourage this unauthorized work. Training. Training given by the employer or under the employer's support is compensable. Employees should keep valid and accurate timekeeping records for compensation. Any training attended by an employee on their own initiative outside of their work hours is not compensable, even if it directly relates to the employee's current position. Paid leave does not equal time worked. FLSA does not consider paid leave to be time worked, even though the employee is paid as if 8 full hours has been worked. All paid leave can be deducted from their work week when determining hours worked for the purposes of overtime. Pay for paid leave is not included in the regular rate of pay calculation. Supervisor accountability is as follows. All supervisors should become familiar with the district's policies and procedures pertaining to the FLSA. Supervisors should inform all employees about the district's policies and procedures, as well as enforcement for timekeeping. Supervisors should document and discipline accordingly any compliance infractions if they occur. For additional resources, refer to the following. Thank you for watching this overview of the Fair Labor Standards Act regulations and guidelines. If you have any questions, contact the Payroll Department at 903-262-1023.